So we are talking about reports and dashboard. So it is vital to note down that reports and dashboard are the two ways in which you can display data. Quite similar to how in Excel sheet you can see data, you can do manipulate on data. Like if you have already worked on Excel sheets, you might be aware of pivot tables, pivot charts, and so on. So reports is the way of displaying data, and dashboard is a way of visually representing that data. So for displaying anything in dashboard, we must have a report. So a report is a feed to a dashboard. Okay, so we'll see that one by one. So what are the different kinds of report we have in Salesforce? The reports are of four types. Okay, the first type is tabular. That means it's a table form of report. What is a table report? Just like any other, like you have on the list view, right? You have a table structure, and you have the headers, and below that you have the data, right? So that's a tabular structure. So a simple report would be a tabular report in a tabular format, which we can have columns, which can come from one object, two object, or maximum three objects. So a report in Salesforce can pick up and show data at a time from one table, two table, or three tables. So three objects maximum. Okay. What's happening? Curious. Give me also. So the first type is tabular. So what is tabular? Tabular is basically a table form of report, where there are headers and there are data. So now what we can do, based on any of the column, any of these columns of a report, and another column of this report, two columns of a report, what we can do is that we can group based on column one, and we can like add the column two values. Yeah. So what is happening? So if the same data is repeating, like A, B, again A here, so what can happen is that the data of this column, which is repeating, that can be grouped based on the different values which this is producing, and the data of this column can be added together. Like if I have 20, 30, and 40 here, so the data of A can be summarized to 60, and data of B can be summarized to 30. Because you see, in A, there are 20 plus 40. For B, there is only one row, that is 30. So total of A and total of B can be done. So when you do this kind of a calculation and grouping on a report, it is called a summary report. That is the second form. So please note that the default report is tabular, but if you group any one column and then you join add up the values of another column based on that grouping, the other column which you are adding up must be numeric data. Otherwise, you cannot add up, right? It can be a text, it cannot be a text data. If it is a text data, you cannot add up. So this summation can only happen on a numeric table column, but the grouping can happen on a pick list or a text column, right? Or any values. So this is a summary report. So I have a report. I can do a summary of any column, and I can do a grand total of another column or a subtotal of this column. If I group another column and I want to group the data for this column also and display it here on the side. So this is a vertical summarization. But if I want to do a horizontal summarization also based on a grouping of another column. So now I have already have a grouping and I have summarized it. So this is summary table. But on this summary table, I will try to group another column. And this time I want to summarize that on the horizontal. If I want to do that, that becomes a matrix report. So that means you are doing a vertical grouping as well as horizontal grouping, both. Is it getting clear, or guys, you are getting confused? Let me know. So we talked about three things. So one is tabular. From a tabular report, I can do a grouping, a vertical grouping. In that case, it will produce a summary report. If I do another level of grouping, that is horizontal grouping on top of vertical grouping, then that becomes a matrix. Please note, you cannot directly do a horizontal grouping without a vertical grouping. Not possible. Okay. So horizontal grouping can only happen if you already have a vertical grouping. So these are like level 1, level 2, and this is level 3 of a report, right? From this only you go to this, and from this only you go to this. Is adding more complexity, right? And then there is another kind of grouping, another kind of report, which is called joined report, wherein there are two reports side by side. You put it all together based on the data of one column of this report. It is showing the data from another report also. So this is joined report. One report containing two reports inside, which is having related data. Joint report is a little complex and advanced topic. We'll not cover this today. We'll cover the first three reports in today's video. Before we jump into the report, please note, reports all run dynamically. That means whoever is logging in, the report will show data based on that person's context, logged in user's context, and whatever data he is entitled to see, only you will see that data. So the same report, if somebody else opens, another person opens the same report, he might see a different data based on his authorization. So what are the different authorization? We have already talked in last two meetings or last two sessions. So based on your record level, because in reports you are seeing data. So based on your record level security, you will see the data on your reports. Clear? So if the RLS is private, you will only see your data. If the RLS is read only, then you will see your own data as well as somebody else's data. If RLS is read write, you will also see somebody else's data. Report is always read only data. That means you cannot work on it You cannot change the data on that. You just visualize that. Okay, so let's jump into the application and let's see how reports looks like and how to create reports. Okay, so now important thing to realize that reports and dashboard are for everybody. So reports and dashboard can be created by system administrators. Reports and dashboards can also be created by normal users, and hence you don't have to go to setup. Reports and dashboard directly you can create outside of setup, because normal users will not go inside setup, right? Only admins can go inside setup. But reports and dashboards, since it can be created by everybody, so you see we have reports and dashboard at separate tabs here. So when you do a new report, Salesforce will ask you what kind of report type do you want. Report type is basically which object are you using to do your report, or which objects are you using to create the report. As I said, you can create a report from one object, two object, or three objects at a time in Salesforce. Okay, so there are many. So you will see that account is there, contacts and account together is there, account. So different kind varieties of reports Salesforce has automatically given to you a lot. Apart from that, you can create your own report type, custom report type also you can create. That means combination of some diverse objects. Probably you will use it for any custom objects. For custom objects, I will show you a default one report you can create. So I will see how many custom objects we have. But before that, let's go and see a simple report on account. So we have accounts. This is the report type. By default, there are columns which you can see on the left. And you can go ahead and change this. So let's see, last activity is not needed. Maybe account owner is needed, billing rate, type and rating. I think that's fine. So if I run this report now, yeah. See, the list view is also is a kind of a report, right? Here you can see all the data together, right? In a list view also you can add columns. So you want maybe type to be added here, rating to be added here, type and rating, you see. So in list view you can directly put some data and change some data here. Salesforce supports this right now. You can change data in bulk, but in reports you cannot do this thing. You cannot manipulate data. Okay, so here is the report. Now let's create a report. So let's check the filter. It shows my accounts. Let's go to all accounts, and let's make it all time. Let's come back.
I can save and run. If I save and run, it will ask me for name of the report. So I say my accounts can be reports. I can make this folder is very critical in Salesforce because based on which folder you are saving, this report might be usable for other people or not. So if I make it a private report, in that case, this report is only for me. Nobody else can use this report. But if I make it if I make it public and in public folders, I save it. In that case, this report can be utilized by others also. But please note, they will see the data of their authorization only. So whatever data they can see, your report will it will show that only. It will not show your data. So context or the login users is very critical for a report, because report will fetch data based on your authorizations, the logged in users authorization. But the report is same, the filters are same, the columns will be same. Okay. So here what we are seeing, you can go and edit this report in run mode also. If you go and edit here, you can go and remove this column from here. You can remove the column from here also, maybe here also. It does the same. Okay. You can remove this column from here also. So you can change the report from any place, from the edit mode or directly on the run mode also. When you are on the run mode, you can see the data. When you are in the edit mode, you are building a report. But building of report or modifying of the report can happen from edit mode as well as run mode both. Okay, so this is what we are calling as a tabular report. Here, let us add. So this is basically a tabular report. Let's talk about the report. Again, newer report. This time I will go to opportunity. And we will have type. And stage. Let's remove rest. Save and run. I will save it in the same public reports folder. So now I can see this is a tabular report. And I have created, it has 3 columns, right? Which all are coming from opportunity object. So now I can go here on the edit mode. And I say, let's group by any of these columns. So let's group this by stage. Okay, and save and run. Please note, when you have a grouping, you see there are many things happening on this page. Now you can add a chart, and it has given you many options here down below. Right? What are these options? So you are seeing the stage is repeating, right? There was many opportunity with prospect. You see, there are 3 opportunity with ID decision makers. 1 opportunity, you see the numbers here, row counts are showing up. Like this has been grouped by how. So all the opportunities which stage as ID decision makers, 3 opportunities are there. And these are basically having these amounts. So what is happening is subtotaling can be done based on these amounts, right? You can go below and what you can see, there is a subtotaling is not showing up. What is happening? So here now, if you can add chart, you see, I can have a chart, different kinds of chart we can produce from this based on the stages. This is my favorite. So you see different stages can be, so you can click on this and there you can have a chart based on record count. You're doing that. Okay, so this is what we are calling as, somehow the grand totaling is not showing up. I don't know why. Yes, this subtotaling, grand totaling, and row details. All are basically, you can remove the row details and it will show you the record counts. And you can also drill down based on these reports. Okay, here let me remove this once again. If you remove it once again, we are coming back with the tabular report once again. You see, this is called the chart is gone. So it is very important that we are grouping by one column. Then only this chart and other things are available to you. Okay. You can now, I can edit back, add this column once again. Please note that you can also group from here also. You see, you're grouping by type now, not by stage. So it is showing you now the totaling. So subtotals you can remove if needed. Subtotals means every group, what is the total of that group. So you see these rows are all like with types as same. So all this put together will come here. And all these, every data all put together will come in grand total. So if I remove the subtotal, now the subtotal is gone, only the grand total remains. So you can play around with this. You can remove the details also. This is very easy to see right now. So summation of totals, and this is very easy. You can remove the row counts also if required. If you remove the row count, then it becomes a lot cleaner. You can even remove the grand. You can also remove the grand totaling. So this is what is called a summary report, because it is summarizing based on one column values. Summarizing means adding up, right? Any questions so far, guys? Okay, so let's add the chart once again. Let's go to my favorite chart. We can also show values here. So this is how this report looks like. For now, let's remove the chart so that we can have a better picture. So this is the first level of grouping. So this is a summary level. So from tabular chart, we have done a grouping on one value, that is a type column, and the grouping has been done on another column, that is called amount. Here, what you can do, You can now group by columns also, right? So let's group now by the stage, right? Run it now. Now you see what happens. If I remove the stage, and let's for now remove the grand total, remove the stack summaries. Yeah. So what happens now? You see, every the grouping of the type is again divided between the grouping of the value of the another column. So that column has multiple stages, and based on those stages, so where type is existing customer and where the stage is prospecting, I am grouping them all together and giving you results. Yeah. So this becomes now a grouping of a row as well as column, both. So this becomes a matrix report. Okay. So if I now introduce one by one, you will have a better picture. So you see in here, it is showing the count, how many rows are there. Here you might see two records are there, which is adding up to this value. So what is two records? Two records which has the type as a and value proposition as stage. So it's grouping by two field values side by side. You can see the detailed row also if you want. Yeah, if you click on this, it will show you which opportunities I am adding up here, right? And you can also do a grand totaling, and you can also do a stack summary. Stack summary means it like stacks up, and you say it is saying that some of the account row and so on. So let's clean up a little more complicated. Okay, so this is the second level of grouping, wherein you have a grouping of row and column both together. And of course, you can do the grouping directly in the run mode also. Not only you have to go here, you can do that grouping here also. I will show both. In run mode. So you can do the grouping from here. You can do subgrouping also, a row, or you can do column grouping also. Please note, subgrouping by rows and column grouping are two different things. So now if you add a chart, if you go to, I think donut chart is better to always look at. Yeah, so you see the total number of records with full details. Great. So reports are dynamic. Reports only show the data live from that environment whenever you are running it, and report shows data which is available to be seen by these users only. You cannot fetch something else. Okay. So now we will move to dashboards. What are dashboards? Dashboards are like a full, what you have ever heard about dashboard? Anybody till now? Not in Salesforce. Anybody else? Any other area?
Yes,
Where?
many different applications wherein we use like if we can go to any report that the first comes, there is a dashboard. A dashboard shows each and everything where you have to go your customers data, any
No,
applications that
that's
you
fine.
can.
No, not in the reporting sense. I am saying that in real life, have you ever heard the term dashboard?
In
Yes,
car,
exactly.
Yes,
Where?
yeah, I have.
Where have you heard about dashboard?
in car
We,
also we have
Car,
dashboard.
yes, of course, of course. In a vehicle, just behind the steering, you have a dashboard, right? What does it do? It gives you indicators, right? It's a small piece of area which has graphical indicators to show you the health of that car, right? What is the fuel status? What is the speed in which this car is running? Where maybe there are some other information of the car that is getting displayed there, right? So this dashboard helps the driver to run his car smoothly, because he knows what things are going wrong and how he can correct it, right? If the fuel is reducing, then he can go and refuel. If the speed is too much high, he can tone it down, right? All the information is, he can visualize all the information at one shot. Had I given him a huge paper or any reading machine wherein I was putting everything in text mode to him while driving, was it possible for him to skim through that data? Not possible, right? So an easy way of seeing that data is very important, because people who are working needs to immediately get attention to the data, what the data is telling you, right? Going through these reports, lot of data might be there. The reports might be fetching a lot of data, but seeing that report to decipher what is going right, what is going wrong, that is a graphical representation can like make your job far easier. So we saw there was a chart which we put on top of the report, right? When you summarized it, right? Similarly, a dashboard is basically a charting system. And dashboard, what happens is dashboard has different components. And in Salesforce area, dashboard will be similar, a area of application wherein you can put different components which can show a graphical view of your data. Clear, guys? Let's create a dashboard. Again, the same thing. The folders where you keep this dashboard, makes it available to other people to use it, or it can be private for you also. Depends on. So you see, I have created now a dashboard, and here I can drop a component. What kind of component? Component will be in variable reports. Okay. So I will search for reports. You see, I have created 2 reports till now, right? So let's select my account. So my account, what it had, it was a it had a normal it was a normal report, right? It was it was a tabular report. It did not have groupings. That is why you are not able to do any charting on this. You can have multiple reports, or you can even have the same report multiple times with different charting also. So what happened here? I have used the my account report. Here I have used my opportunities report. My opportunities is twice, but I have different charts on this. So this gives a easy visibility to my data, right? I don't have to go and run the report to see what is happening. So I save it. Very important thing here in the report, that what I am doing, I am saving this, viewing this dashboard as whom? As me, when I'm saving the report, or somebody else's context, or a dashboard viewer concept. So dashboard is a snapshot or view of the maker or any individual. So if you share this dashboard to other people, they will be seeing the data which is set up here. Unlike report, in report what was happening? The logged in user was seeing the data who or what he was looking at, right? Whatever data he can see, that data only report was fetching and showing. But dashboard will show any user the data based on these settings. If I am creating, then my data will be available for everybody else to see. If I select somebody else, then that person's data will be available for people to see on a dashboard. If I make it dashboard viewer, then the logged in user's data only he can see. Are you getting it? Any confusion? So dashboard by default, these two options are static dashboards. If you tick here, this becomes a dynamic dashboard. Okay. Here, when you choose this dashboard viewer, you can also allow a dashboard viewer to choose whom they view the dashboard as. I will come to this one by one. If I am saying done, yeah, you see, I have created a dashboard. If I click on this dashboard, it looks like this. Now, I can do a refresh that will fetch the latest data. And this is storing the data in this dashboard. That means dashboard is static, dashboard is not dynamic by default, but you can make it dynamic. So here you can subscribe to a dashboard, static dashboard. You cannot subscribe to a dynamic dashboard. How to make it dynamic? So you see, when I have created this static dashboard, I am seeing viewing as Animation Manager. So if any other user who opens this dashboard will always see viewing as Animation Manager, because he will dashboard will show whose data are we showing it to you. Very clear. Why will this be needed? This dashboard is needed for executive committee people to look at data at one shot. That means steering committee, CEO of a company would like to see this data instantly and understand how to run his company, what is going wrong, what is going good. So this dashboard, it does not need, the viewers of this dashboard does not need to be properly set up. Viewers can be CEOs who don't care about data. They only need a snapshot of the data of the whole org, and I don't have to set up details about that user, give all data sharing rights to this person, not needed, right? So dashboard gives an immediate option wherein I can create a dashboard based on my data. Maybe I am the system administrator and I'm showing that data to a CEO of a company. I can send this, the CEO can subscribe to this, and every morning when he wakes up, he can see this data and he can take his decisions. He does not, we do not need to set up the CEO. Okay. So persons who are not even on Salesforce, they can also see this data by subscribing. So it will come to their mailbox. Are you understanding? So that is what subscription is all about. If you go and subscribe, you can see this is daily. At what time I am sending a mail, and I can add recipient. So whoever is the, who is getting this mail can look at this data. And whose data? The creator's data, because that is what I have made, right? You see, here I have created a dashboard. I'm showing my view. I can change this and I can select another user. I can also make this dashboard here. If I do this, this becomes a dynamic dashboard. If this, I make it a dynamic dashboard, you see the subscribe button is gone, because now this data is fetched from runtime. And whose data? Basically, whoever is logging in, that person will see his data only, his or her data only. This is now behaving like a report, right? And I can also give additional permission, like you can choose to see somebody else's data. So what happens is that if I give this opportunity, then I can allow somebody to even change this. So I am viewing as myself, I can change this and I can see what data this user will be seeing. Right? I can change for another person, but I cannot subscribe to this report. This will not come to my mailbox, because for sending any data to mailbox, it is just like taking a picture of that data, right? I cannot take a picture of this data because this is runtime fetched. This is dynamic. I can send mails on my reports also. If I go to reports, reports also give the opportunity to subscribe. Here also I can send reports and daily, but here you see run report as me or another person. Here, when I am doing this, scheduling a report, I am basically showing the data of this person whom I am like doing the subscription on. So run report as me, if I do that, so my permissions, my data, I can show to other people by sending them through mails. So Salesforce allows it. It's just like taking a snapshot or picture of this report and sending it to somebody else. Similar stuff. So that person may not see all data if they log into Salesforce, but I can show my data to somebody else using this option. Clear? Guys, so dashboard is static by default. Report is always dynamic. Dashboard can be made dynamic by selecting run as a dashboard viewer. Okay. Clear? So dashboard is a graphical representation. When you have a report, you can add a chart on top of it. If you add a chart, that same chart, maybe I have done a funnel chart. Right? The same chart, I can also use it on my dashboard. If I go and edit it and I add this report, it also gives me to use the chart setting from report also. That is also possible. Okay. So what is the chart of that report? You can straight away pull it, or you can put your own chart. Clear, guys?
So one question.
Yeah.
If someone make changes in the report, same will be applicable to apply to the dashboards as well real time.
What changes?
Let's say someone changed the values in any other reports. And the
Values
same
means what?
amount, any amount.
So report only shows data. You cannot change data. Are you able to change any data here? As I said, reports is only used to view data. Reports cannot be used to modify data. In list, you can go and modify data, right? Here you go and you can change data here, right? You can change stuff here. But in reports, you can only see the data. You cannot change data.
Okay, so if someone make changes in the list, then that will be applied to the reports and dashboards as well, right?
Yeah, what if you make changes on the data, of course that changes will come here. So let's see, like if I do a type and rating on an external test account, you see, if I go there, external text account is one, right? So let me add type and setting there. So external text account, in the detail, I change the type and I go to reports, my accounts. It changes, right? It shows me the data. Yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So that is all about reports and dashboard today, guys. And reports and dashboard will take care of all your settings. That means record level security, field level security. So you cannot see and add a column which you do not have access to. All the securities are already baked into report. So you can, or report has to be created based on your security permissions. So what we discussed last day, OLS, FLS, and RLS are all needs to be followed. And you cannot do anything outside it. Okay. What else did I miss out? Reports, RLS. I think we have covered it all. Any questions so far?
Yeah, Nimesh. Hi, this is Ketan.
Hi, Ketan.
Yeah, that the reports when we are creating using what objects do we need? So in that
Yeah.
part we left with
Good,
custom
yeah.
object
Good.
report with the custom.
Yes. So another thing I need to talk about is the custom object and a report for that. So whenever you go and create a custom object, let's create a custom object. Do we have a custom object already? Huh. There is a custom object called sharing test. Let's see. Yeah. Let's create amount object, amount field. Right. So let's go to report. I want to create a report on this custom object. So what is the name? Sharing test. Am I getting it? Nothing is there, right? Why I am not getting it? Because by default report are not enabled for every object. So you have to enable that. So when you go to dictate, you see enable reports is switched off. So what we have to do? We have to go and allow reports and save it. So if this is not ticked, you cannot create reports on this object. By default, it is not ticked. So whenever if you're not getting it, please make sure that you go and check the tick of any report. So now if I go and create a new report, now I am saying the sharing test. And I can now create a report. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Kunal, clear now?
Yeah, this is Ketan.
Ketan, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to show you. In this report, you see this joint reports are, this is not joint reports. These are like different report types which Salesforce has already provided to you. So if I do a contact and account together, so you will see I have columns from both these objects together in one place. So you can bring like fields, or you can show fields and values from both the tables together. So that is the benefit of having reports, which is a joining between multiple objects. Okay.
Nimesh, what if I want to create a report between a standard object and a custom object? How will select that two objects?
Possible. So here this object does not have a relationship, right? So if you create a relationship, maybe with the standard object. You see now it is already showing a different result. Clear?
Okay, means without relationship, you cannot use two objects.
How will you use that? What is the how is it connected? If you are not connecting it, how will it show in report? You cannot have two different tables and join them together randomly, right? Not possible.
And one more thing into the reports, how is there any option to get the YTD values?
What do you mean by YTD?
Year to date means on a amount. If there is an amount field, and we want to get the YTD. Means if you are talking about average revenue or average average on that amount field, and that we want as a YTD date range, year to date.
So there are some summary formulas which you can create here on reports that you can use for your reports. Right now, do I have a amount field here? Let's see. Here you see. Now you can create some formulas. You can look at this if that helps you or not. You can have some functions also. So you can have ceiling, absolute, and you can put this in reports also.
Okay.
Apart from that, if you're fetching data based on that filters, you can also have some formulas for like in opportunity, right? If you go back to opportunity. You see like a close date, right? You can clear this, you can pick a date, or you can choose a relative date, or you can say close month, and you can see no, not here. Yeah, this close date you can change, and you can see like you can make it current fiscal year, previous fiscal year, previous 2 fiscal year, 2 fiscal year ago. There are different options which you can use. Calendar year. This is what you're looking for?
Yes. But for YTD, I need to create a formula.
Yeah, there are many options. You can create your own also. You can have a
Mhm.
custom setting and you can choose whatever you want to do. So there were diverse options. Again, sometimes you have to create formula fields on the record or the table. And based on that formula field, you can also run different reports here. So it's always, it will be a combination of sometimes for complicated report, you might need a formula field on the data, and then based on that data, you might have different calculation on the reports also. So think not only solving the problem on reports, you can also have the formula fields on that table itself, which can help you, assist you.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Prashant.
Yeah.
So on a reporter dashboard, we have seen that and report viewing as some user, right?
Mhm.
So why can't shall we have an option saying that viewing as on date, something like that, last month, last week, yesterday, today, like that? Is there any option like that?
So there is a thing called reporting snapshot that
Okay.
you can use, that will store the report value in a custom object.
Ha.
You can go and check that. I will not cover this, a little complicated. You have to create an object with all these column headers. Yeah. And you can run that report automatically at a given point of date and store this data into that object. Okay.
You mean to say that we need to have another duplicate object?
We need a custom object which can
Okay.
store this report details. Yeah. So the snapshot, there are two ways of doing it. Either you can send a mail, right? Like you use the subscription button. So if it is subscription, then it is already coming as a mail to somebody. So that is that day's, that moment's data, right?
Yes.
That is one way of doing it. Another way is that you want to store that in Salesforce itself. That is also possible. It's called snapshot, report snapshot. For that, you have to create an object, and that object will have fields which is exactly same to the report fields, and you can store that data in that object.
Okay. We need to configure in such a way that we need to store at that particular point of time.
That's correct.
Can we automate it, saying that daily he has
Yes.
to store
Yes.
by 12 by
Yes.
12 I need by midnight 12 I need
Yes.
to get
Yes.
one snapshot,
Yes.
and the next day 12, like that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fine.
You can tell at what time the snapshot you want to take.
Okay.
Anything else you're talking about? And how many of you guys already started working in Salesforce?
Working.
Yeah, in Salesforce projects.
Yeah, Nimesh.
Some guys started off, right?
Yeah,
Ketan started
Ketan.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're enjoying now?
Yeah, Nimesh.
Yeah, good
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
Reach out to me if you are facing any technical challenges, and you said don't worry. Keep
Yes.
posting on the WhatsApp group and help each other also. So
Okay.
in the WhatsApp group, we keep sharing all the problems which you are facing, and we'll get to that.
So what is data
Sorry,
deduplication and how admin can resolve those issues?
please come
What
again.
is data deduplication?
Data deduplication.
Data,
Okay.
yes,
Data deduplication means probably you have created two accounts with the same name. If that happens, because Salesforce is not stopping you to do that, right? If you go here, this is the external test account 1. If I create another account with the same name, where is that? So if I copy this, create another account with the same name. So you see two accounts has been created here. So this is a duplication, right? Nobody is stopping me from doing that. So there are two ways of doing rectifying this data. Either you delete one of them, or that which is not relevant, maybe, or there is a thing called merging. This is, you can do that here on case. Yeah, so what you can do is that on basically contacts, you can do that. Sometimes on account also you can do that. Just give me 1 second, let me check. There is option here, I forgot. So I think on the, I think it's in Lightning. I don't know it is where. Let me check one second. Okay, got it. It is not available in Lightning. You see here, if I see a potential duplicate. So what I can do is that I can create a duplicate rule. So if you go to setup and I create a duplicate rule. Yeah, you see there are some standard duplicate rules, but let me do it for account. Rule name duplicate. Enforce sharing rule, bypass sharing anyway. So if I can alert, I can block also. So I can say that if there is duplication, I can block the creation of that account, or I can allow with some alert or report. Both are possible. Okay, so let's do this. And how will I compare these two? Account name equals. It is optional condition. You don't need that. Don't worry. So account name and so these are all selected. Based on that, let's see. This is working or not. So I will activate it. Now go to account. Let's see if it is. So I will go and create a which fields did I choose? Standard mapping. So I can create my own matching rules. Play around it. You can create it. Let me deactivate it once again. No, it is active. Standard mapping rules. Activate. So if all these are same, account name, billing city, billing country, state, street, postal address, phone and website, I will mark these as a duplicate account. Okay. So let's fill this up all one by one. website was there, right? Phone and website. I think easier is here to create it right now. Hold on. It's not firing. So all the data has to be filled up anyway. So what you can do is that you can try this duplicate tool. So what will come is there on this page, you will see we found potential duplicate. And you go and merge your accounts. So more than one account you can merge, maximum three accounts you can merge together. And what you can do is that all the association between all these three records, so all the childs of account 1, account 2, and account 3, which has the same name probably, what will happen is that all will consolidate it under one account. And you can select which account I want to use for going forward. And that will be their rest, and all the childs will be migrated to other accounts. Childs will be migrated to this account. And this the next two accounts, account 2 and account 3, will go into recycle bin. Okay, that is an automatic feature which we have in Salesforce. So this is called merging of accounts. You can play with it. It requires all these fields to be filled up. I think it will take some time for me to do that. You can do it on your own.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And
Any other
sir,
questions?
yeah. What if there are already thousands of duplicate records and admin got a query like to eliminate, means to erase all those duplicate records? So how admin will do that?
Merging of accounts can be done in bulk, that is deduplication. Then you have to, what deduplication means? Deduplication means I have to remove duplicates, right? So what will happen is that the association of two accounts, maybe which you want to deduplicate, the relationships of those two accounts needs to be now pushed into one account, and you can delete another account, right? So it's a reparenting that first you have to do, then you can delete that account. So reparenting means all the childs of that account needs to be reparented. Reparented means you have to go and download all the child records. In the lookup field, you have to change the lookup ID from account B to account A, save those records, update that records, and then under account, it will be completely blank. There will be no contacts, no opportunity case, something, everything will be blank. This account will not be associated to anything. All the child has been moved to another account. In that case, you can go and delete this in bulk also. Got it?
Okay.
So first,
Okay, sir.
first you have to take care of the relationships. All the child has to be reparented to the account which you want to keep, and then delete the account which you want to delete. Deduplication does not mean that randomly you will go forward and duplicate one of the data. If you do that, that can prove as a disaster, because those accounts most probably will have children.
Okay.
Or it will be associated to other accounts, right? You have to make sure that when you're deleting the data, it's not impacting the other data.
Okay. And sir, is CPQ related to the admin part or the development CPQ?
Steel brick CPQ. Okay, so CPQ is a different product. CPQ basically needs to be installed as a managed package on this instance of Salesforce. What it gives you the opportunity is sophisticated quoting option. In Salesforce also you can enable quotes. If you go to setup, Salesforce by default there is a quote. You enable this, and you can create quotations, nice looking quotations, which you can send to customers. Yeah. So what happens is now if you go to any opportunity, here you can create quotes. So, but this is the default general quotes, which is quite unsophisticated, because in enterprise application, quotations can be many, like it can be really complicated. So what happens is that CPQ provides great quotation system, which will give you product rule, pricing rules, and so on. Product rules can be many things. Product rule means when you purchase this, automatically other product should be selected. This product cannot be purchased with this product. Like these kinds of rules you can create in CPQ. And pricing rules, of course, like I can have different prices at different situations. I can have tiered pricing. That means I am selling in bulk. I have different tiers of pricing, like quantities 1 to 20, I have a fixed price. And then quantity 20 to 40, I have a fixed price. So these different kinds of pricing methods are possible, which is not possible here in this default. This quotation is just a very elementary thing, which gives you a nice looking PDF, which you can send to customer. That is it, nothing else.
Okay. And sir, that tool is mostly being used by the admin most of the times, right? CPQ.
No, why? CPQ tool, one is setup. Setup means this pricing rule and product rules. That is the admin who is doing it. But ultimately it is a quotation system. The quotations will be used by the Salesforce people, right? They will create quotations. There are two parts. So in CPQ there is a setup part, which is the pricing setup, the product setup, everything. After that is done, then the tool will be utilized by sales people to create quotes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And sir, in real scenarios, what kind of queries do admin gets, like in real time job, day-to-day job?
50% of your work will be creating users. So you should be very clear about how to create users. Another 30% job would be to create reports and dashboard. So today's session was very, very important. As an admin, your most frequently used job would be to create reports and dashboard for people. And of course, you can do bulk operations on data. This is a support function I'm talking about. But if you are basically working in development, of course, you do development. You can also create workflow rules to send out mails. You can create validation rules. You can create take out fields from a page layout. But these are less like these will come rarely. Of course, there is a lot of pick list changes. You will get that please add this value on the pick lists and so on. So this is kind of work you have to do.
Okay. And sir, is the deployment also admin responsible for deployments, whatever changes he have made?
Yes, of course.
Using the same tool which you said, change set and
depends on what is your DevOps tool. Every organization will have a different DevOps tool. If it is a very complicated organization, there's a lot of code happening. In that case, they need a source control. Otherwise, it will be very hard to manage. And there are multiple teams to work on, right? In that case, chain set will not be sufficient. In that case, you have to bring Git. You have to bring deployment tools, more sophisticated deployment tools into picture. So there can be a tool like Copado, AutoRabbit, or Flossom. You see, many organizations are using these for deployment in that case, because that automatically takes care of pushing and pulling the data in source control, and that way you can merge code done by 2 or 3 developers. Right now in Salesforce, it will override, right? If you use the same sandbox, multiple people are working, then one guy can override changes by another guy, right? Because there is no way to communicate. But using a source control, 2 people can work independently, and they merge their code, resolve their conflicts, and then deploy in the higher environment.
Okay.
This is basically a dev edition which you are using. So this does not have a sandbox. In real life situation, these editions, this developer edition would be, okay, this developer edition will be enterprise edition or a professional edition or a unlimited edition for customer. You cannot do customization and configuration on productions directly. You will have to create a sandbox. On that sandbox, you have to do all these changes and then deploy it to production.
Okay.
Yeah, the deployment can happen through chain set, that it can happen through metadata API and tool. It can happen through sophisticated tools like Copado. This many people use Jenkins also, automated deployment. So there are many options to do deployments. Apologies for the noise.
Sir, will we get the opportunity to see how the chain set work?
Chain set, yes, of course. If you go to, you have a sandbox and a production environment, which I cannot show it right now because these are all dev boxes.
Okay.
You can go ahead and you can play around with chain set. You need a sandbox to work on a chain set.
So Ant is also the deployment tool, is it?
Yes, Ant is working on metadata API. Salesforce has a metadata SOAP API. That metadata API can be utilized by any tool to deploy. So Ant is a XML based tool which can work behind the scenes with metadata API to pull and push metadata files from one environment to another environment.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So let's say when TCS gets a new Salesforce project from any other client, so what the first thing we do, we means we create everything as per their requirements, and also at the same time we get the sandboxes created, means same sandbox will automatically be created, or every time user and developer have to create with all the earlier, means whatever the data it is available in the development org.
So usually customer side, there will be an admin, right? So that admin will create the users or system, more system admins. So TCS people will be created as admins in sandboxes. So that customer side admin will create some sandboxes, and on those sandboxes, they will be creating you as system administrators to work on. Usually production access is very limited, and that would be shared probably with the very senior people, like the support lead. They might have a production access, or they might not have access at all. Customer might say that I will deploy whatever needs to be deployed in production. You create the changes, chain set, upload it, or you create create the user story in Copado and let me give it to me, and then I will do the deployment. So most of the time, it depends on the who is basically owning the production instance. It can be TCS also. There can be a TCS admin also doing it. There it can be directly customer admin also who can do that. But not everybody will have access to production.
Okay.
Based on the contract which we have, right, with the customer, it will vary. But of course, all development or changes must happen in sandbox, and then it should go to production. Only manually you are allowed to do changes in production for any metadata that is not deployed via metadata API or change sets. There are many metadata which cannot be deployed using these tools. So those has to be manual.
Okay. And sir, when an admin get the requirement from client, is there any time frame he also get at the same time? Like you have to do it in a week or immediately? Is it
Yes,
like that?
of course, there is a SLA. So if it is a support project, in that case, there will be strict SLAs. So what kind of request is this? What is the priority of that request? Based on that, there are defined contracts, defined SLAs. SLAs means period of time through which you have to finish it. So it might, a high priority item might need to be finished in 4 hours, and maybe low priority item needs to be finished in 5 days. Yeah, based on that, you have to do.
Okay. Okay.
And if it is too much effort that cannot be done in 5 days, probably you have to raise a CR and you say that we need development effort for this. So this needs to become a project. So then you have a negotiation with customer, and then you give a SOW, customer signs that SOW, then that becomes a development project. If it is very big in implementation.
Okay. And sir, let's say, as you said, ki there will be a more work of you creating a user and all. So if admin get the requirement like and also the data that he has to create thousands of users, so she will use the workbench tool, right, to create those.
Workbench, data loader, any of these tools.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
All questions answered?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So if there are no further questions, then we'll close the session for the day. Thank you guys. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thanks.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much.